Welcome to No Match for a Blaster, Star Wars role-playing podcast, episode 22, Intents and Defense. I'm your host and Wookiee hairstylist, Ito Davis. If you're new here, No Match for a Blaster is an actual play podcast featuring the Morality Plays crew playing the Star Wars role-playing system by Fantasy Flight Games. To start off, we have great news. We have officially reached 1,000 total downloads. Thank you so much to all of our awesome listeners for all your support. You really make all our hard work worth it. Next, we'd like to take this opportunity to personally thank our Nerf Herders of the Week, Eddie Harrington and David Ruth. Thank you. With your help, we can take care of those poor, abandoned Nerfs roaming the plains of Hoban. Yeehaw. To be our next Nerf Herder of the Week, be sure to subscribe to us at patreon.com/moralityplays. To make sure you don't miss any of our big updates, you can follow us on Facebook at No Match for a Blaster, or on Twitter at No Match Podcast. So get comfortable, because we're returning to the crew of the Atheon as they make their jump back to the Julius Station from their mission aboard the Marathon.
Previously on No Match for a Blaster. The First Order took refugees from Hoban captive, but the Moon's Marshal and deputies fought to free those they could from their enemies' clutches. Now, the immediate danger to some of these refugees has passed, but many questions still remain. What was the First Order's purpose in capturing prisoners? Will they continue their attack on Hoban? And perhaps most importantly, what will the New Republic do to stop them? Answers may lie with Commander Sebastian Char.
Alright, so you're all on a shuttle, currently in hyperspace, going back towards the Julius space station in the Detritus system. After, I think I said like 3 hours. After 3 hours being in jump, you come outside the debris field.
Wait, before we do that, I want to have a conversation.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Who do you want to have a conversation
We're still in hyperspace.
Yep.
Remy goes to find Cassie and Kamaya.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie's probably right beside him already, so...
Kamaya's on the bridge, or, wherever. She's co-piloting, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes to find Cammy. Cammy, I think we need to have our conversation. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, what's up?
Come on, I think Cassie needs to be part of this too.
Alright. She looks over at the pilot. You good for a minute?
I got her.
So he walks back, and when they're all together, girls, I think we need to have a serious conversation about what's ahead. I know last time we were at the Detritus space station, Commander Char was pretty kind with his words about what he could do for Hoban. But honestly, this is a war we're going to be fighting against the First Order. And Hoban, while it could be a good staging area for the First Order, I don't know that it has much strategic value for the Republic. Having said that, my instincts tell me that the best we could hope for was that Hoban be ignored by both sides. But unfortunately, my instincts are telling me, if anything, if Hoban does get involved, it's likely to be a battlefield. I'm not trying to tell you this to discourage you or scare you, but I do want both of you to be prepared for that.
Hoban's been a battlefield every war. It's going to be the same this time, like it always is. It's better to be a battlefield than a killing ground. The First Order was obviously ready to go in and kill anybody who was there. At least if we get the Republic involved. Some of them might be okay.
I mean, yeah, what she said, but, also, what else are we going to do? That's our family there. We can either go and fight, which, I mean, it has its moments, but I'd rather not overall. Or we can just lay down and die. Like, it's not much of a choice.
And I'm not expecting you to lay down and die. I'm not expecting you to give up. I'm glad to hear that both of you are willing to fight, but I do want you to be prepared that there may be only so much the Republic can do. But it sounds like both of you understand that.
Yeah, they never cared about us before. I mean, as long as they get all their fresh frozen nerf, they're all happy.
Kamaya rolls her eyes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Our best chance is convincing them that Hoban has something worth fighting for. That's all we got right now. Obviously, there's something there for the First Order, and I don't think it's our nerf.
That seems logical given their actions, but I'm pretty curious as to what that might be. I mean, let's be honest, there's not much on Hoban.
Well, we thought that, and then a giant ship just broke out from under the crust. I mean, we thought it was cleaned out, but maybe there's more there that we don't know.
That's also a very good point. There could be more lurking under the surface that we don't know. Either way, I think it's good that to stop the First Order and however we can to thwart their plans, but I think it's also good for you two to be prepared that there's a good possibility that your families could be in danger.
They're already in danger. Less fighting is going to change that. Well, it won't make it worse for them.
They know what they're getting into. Mom and Dad, they fought in the last war. They'll get us through this one.
Remy slowly looks at each of you and nods his head and says, all right, maybe I've underestimated you two a little bit. Sounds like you're more prepared for this than I thought.
Well, prepared. I don't know. But we're going to do it, right?
Get used to underestimating us, Marshall. I think we might surprise you. She kind of gives a little, cocky smirk.
I hope so. All right, anything else we need to talk about? I think we're almost to the space station at this point.
I could use a hell of a drink now.
Yeah, I could use some calf too. I'm really tired.
I think we did establish that there is a cappuccino machine on this boat.
Yeah, I think you said that.
Cassie was asleep, though.
Kamaya will point her to the cappuccino machine. All right, so the First Order, what could they be up to? They've been taking people and doing weird tests on them? I mean, what would they have wanted with Omal?
Remy squirms a little bit, and you hear Imp kind of squawk to him. You're probably right. There is something else I should probably tell you too.
Dun dun dun.
Marshall?
Remy?
A while back, I was actually taken by the First Order.
What? When did this happen?
It's been several years now, over 10 years.
So before you came to...
What did they do to you?
Well, that's the thing. I don't really remember a whole lot. In fact, we were colonists the first colonists on a outer planet, previously uninhabited. I can't really remember much before the day that they came and took us all. And then kind of intermittent flashes between then and the time that I escaped. It's not very clear to me, even after all this time. But basically, that's what they did the last time. They took all the colonists and experimented on us.
Marshall, that's awful. You don't remember anything?
Like I said, not much. It kind of comes back to me, bits and pieces. I can't make much sense of it. But that's enough for now. Anyway.
Cassie gets up and gives you a hug.
He hugs. He does like a one-armed hug around you. It's all right. I've had enough time to deal with it.
Well, yeah, but Imp seems traumatized.
Aww.
And she pads off to go get some calf.
So to answer your question, Cammy, I don't really know what the First Order wants with them, but they definitely seem to be experimenting on these people like they did the last time.
Okay. That means all we know is that they have a history of doing this.
That's right.
Do you know what happened to anyone else? How did you get away from that?
You know, that part's kind of fuzzy to me as well. I just remember explosion, sparks, racing through the halls, not even fully clothed, bleeding, with Imp riding on my shoulder. The two of us just making a mad dash to get out of that place.
Did you steal a shuttle? Did you get rescued by the Republic?
Like I said, I have a hard time remembering that part too. I think maybe, yeah, I somehow got into an escape pod and was picked up. Yeah. I seem to kind of remember that, but it's all fuzzy.
She nods. Okay. But I guess what they did to you, it's not like what they did to Omal. And she kind of looks over at him, who's, I imagine he's kind of sleeping at this point in his stretcher on the other side of the ship, or this room that we're in.
Yeah.
About,
and 6 feet away from me.
Right. And I believe he had, was missing limb, or you look real beat up.
Missing limbs, like a full left arm and a full left leg, and the long bones amputated.
All right. So, whatever they did to you, it's different than what they're doing now. I don't know.
I mean,
what
do you
that's
have
worth.
prosthetic legs?
No.
Okay. I mean, you could have. We wouldn't know.
No. As far as I know, 100% Remy. I just meant that, yeah, the experiments could be changing. The test subjects' requirements could be different, but it does seem like they're using human subjects again.
That's all the more reason to oppose them, right? I mean, if we do nothing, if we just go home and sit and wait, we're kind of complicit. So...
No one's suggesting we go sit and wait. We're going to do something. We just have to figure out what. I mean, we don't know how to find them. We don't know how to find the rest of our people that they took with them.
Well, yeah, but Remy's friend on the station knows things.
We'll see if
maybe
he does.
He knows something, or maybe he knows somebody who knows something. I mean, that was a big ship. It has to refuel somewhere.
I guess that's a good point. All right. So we ask Commander Shar, see if he knows anything.
We can ask him when we get there. That's a good idea.
All right, it's a plan. That and drinks.
I've got mine. Thanks.
Oh, I was not thinking about calf. Oh, look, we're arriving.
The shuttle comes out of hyperspeed. Your ears pop a little bit. The other shuttle is also there, and the Corvette is... the Corvette's there too, yeah. No, wait, you guys were not going to the station. You guys were going to the other rendezvous place. So,
oh, yeah, we had to go rendezvous.
Yeah, so this is like a 30-minute, which makes more sense. 30-minute stop.
Right. So that was just our conversation.
Yeah. The transport comes out of hyperspeed. The Corvette is there. It has a few other fighter ships with it, running escort because it went for backup in case you guys didn't show back up. Mm-hmm. The other shuttle's there also. You can hear the pilot of the shuttle, and through the comms, if anyone's listening, them talking about how many people they have on board, and then you see more and more little shuttles pop at a hyperspeed in the same location. These are all the other people fleeing the marathon. You all saved a lot of people.
Well, I mean, we are big damn heroes.
Yeah. They're relaying jump coordinates back to Space Station Julius.
Mm-hmm.
There is confirmed 40 individuals, 10 of which were actually from the medical wing, so critical care. This is your ability if you wanted to communicate with the commander of, or the captain of with the Talon Corvette.
Raptor?
Was it Raptor? Raptor!
Yeah.
No, Raptor.
That's
The Raptor.
the captain of the Raptor.
Otherwise, y'all jump to Julius.
Captain, good to hear from you again.
Good to hear from you.
All right, everything went well? Did you sustain any damage when the First Order came after you?
Only superficial damage. We'll be able to repair it back in Julius. We led him on a pretty good goose chase. It seems that your endeavor was much more fruitful, though.
Less than we would have hoped, but we got as many people out as we could.
The battle continues. From reports what I hear, the passengers weren't deceased on the ship, so they're somewhere. And the New Republic Defense Force will be there to try and help.
Thanks. Guess we'll see you back at the station.
Roger that. All of the ships, all the flock of ships all jump into hyperspace. Another 2 hours of time. You come out. The Corvette is at the front towards the debris field, and all the other smaller ships jump in behind it. Mm-hmm. All the power goes to the forward shields of the Raptor Corvette, and it slowly pushes through to the debris field, making a wake that all the other ships can follow behind. And you come towards the core.
That's easier than we did it.
Yeah. Well, this is how they led you out of the debris field, too.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a wake that the bigger ships can create. You get towards the center, you see the dim glowing blue star, and the space station opens itself to you. Most of the transports can get down there. The Corvette finds a place among the debris, the inner debris field, and it sends its own shuttles into the Julius space station also. Mm-hmm. All of the docking bays are open because there's so many little shuttles, and you start to land. Flight crews on the loading bay are moving among all the shuttles. Emergency services are coming out and meet Rico and Ullum at the ramp, start rushing them down. Rico is keeping pace with the emergency crew as they rush them to what you assume is the medical wing.
Part of me wants to go that way, and then part of me is just like, oh, gosh. Aaron's not here today. But we need to go check in with Commander Char, right? That was our plan.
Yeah.
You're the boss.
You make your way through the station. You go down to the level that you met with Commander Char before. It is just scrambling with people. You see every single side room, full of people doing debriefs and, tactic reports, and, they gathered a lot of information. Mm-hmm. When you approach Commander Char's room, there's the same kind of receptionist outside. The person in front of you looks up, realizes who you are. Oh, he's gonna need some time with his people for proper debrief. Can you give him an hour? There was some unexpected consequences of the situation, and we have to reallocate. As this is happening, give me a perception check.
I think that's just Kamaya's check, right? Or not Kamaya, Cassie.
Yeah,
Cassie has the best.
I think it's not me.
Average. Just average.
Speaking of die rolls.
Oh, do you guys want that
Force
stuff?
and Destiny?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Sure.
Successful with 1 disadvantage. 3 successes, 1 disadvantage, and we probably should do the Force and Destiny roll.
2 light side.
3 light side, 1 dark side so far.
All right, I got 1 dark side.
4 light side, and 2 dark side.
2 dark. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a few force points to play with. So you did your perception check, and you got a...
I got 3 successes and 1 disadvantage. Or 1 threat.
1 threat.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So you notice...
Threat, disadvantage. Threat, disadvantage, tomato,
That's
tomato.
So there's a whole bunch of side rooms, and they all have, clear Durasteel windows. And
Okay, so just to be clear, did we recover any strain?
you guys have the quote unquote short rest, so I believe you recover your strain. I mean, I don't plan on you guys getting into a firefight on the station. Who knows? But
Okay, sorry.
You don't know us at all.
Characters, yeah. We're player characters. If it's possible
one of
for us
our-
to get into a
I mean,
firefight,
You
we'll do
didn't
it.
say they took our weapons this time, so...
yeah, no, they didn't. So you're looking around. You see all the different conference rooms, effectively, and on one of them you see a hollow projection of Hoban, and you see different places upon Hoban lit up, and you see little text bubbles identifying locations, and it looks like it's kind of a strategy meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the kind of thing we should be there for.
I was going to say, we should barge in.
I was about to say, can we do a inspection roll or something on that?
What do you want?
Investigation?
Yeah.
I want to look at the map and see what I recognize, see what I don't recognize, see what the points are.
Yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
I'm looking at it more of a strategic.
You can do.
So
you
I
can-
don't know what the rest of the groups think.
You can do investigation. You can do warfare.
Oh, I can warfare us. If that's what you want to do.
I mean, that's what I want to do. Is that what you want to do?
How difficult is it to warfare?
The warfare is average, also.
Okay, let's see if I can warfare. I can warfare. With an advantage.
Okay. So you see them after a moment or two. You realize that it looks like they have like 3 options that they're kind of flipping through for possible things to do with Hoban. You can see it off to the side where it has like scenario 1, 2, 3, and they're only right now focusing on one of those options. It looks like they're talking about heavily fortifying Hoban, as in like planetary defense systems. And the way they're going about it it doesn't feel like how the Rebellion did planetary defense systems or anything like that, because the Rebellion really didn't do much of it. Taking advantage of what Hoban has, which is, a lot of pre-made military substructures, and using those, arming up Hoban to a pretty crazy degree. The likes of which you've only seen on maybe some moons in the inner systems. They have retrofitted moons in the past to be bunkers, effectively. And this might remind you of that. It looks like it changes the face of Hoban to a degree that it almost feels like it's a little unrecognizable.
So these are construction plans.
Yes.
Is that how I would do I think this is something that's underneath the surface, or do I think this is something they're planning to implement?
It looks like it's something they're planning to add to Hoban. Like, utilizing what's already there, which is, like, Hoban has had a lot of older structures that served a similar purpose, but have long been torn apart. But it looks like they would add these planetary defense systems.
Okay.
How do you mean they changed the face of Hoban?
The way Hoban is, fields of yellow, and it definitely has scars of the Empire. A lot of those Imperial structures have been turned into other things. Every single building you've pretty much seen on Hoban that's been built in the last 20 years was carved out of things that were Imperial, right? You haven't seen Hoban utilized in wartime, and it looks like this turns it 100% back into a war planet.
Are there guns every 10 feet? Are we putting not whatever the equivalent is of the Imperial Walker? Like, it
shows like, okay, so there are a few bunkers, right? Like the one that you were messing with. Each one of those bunkers now implants with a massive planetary defense cannon. The old Jensen granary is replaced by a new commiserate, which also has fortifications around it and weapon systems. The center of... Is it New Isley? The center of New Isley has been already designated out as military bunkers and command structures and all this other kind of stuff. One of the new acquisitions of land that your family took actually turns into a pop-up barrack site.
Oh, okay. I mean, a barracks isn't that big.
Well, like they're planning on essentially requisitioning that from them.
Just they have it on the hollow projection of the areas. It shows barracks now.
But the bulk of the planet left, so most of this annexing that they're planning on, it's annexing empty buildings. Yeah, that doesn't seem all that bad.
Tell that to Ma.
Well, yeah, but she's always had no patience for that kind of thing.
Well, exactly.
But, what's the alternative? No defenses?
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, if only we had citizens from Hoban to go in there and discuss it with them.
I mean, this isn't exactly what you wanted, but they're building up the defenses.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, but, I mean, we could also probably redirect them to different spots if we wanted to.
We should at least make ourselves known. We're the only people from Hoban currently on this space station.
Okay, while the two of them are kind of dithering around, I'm just going to walk in the door.
Say again?
I'm going to burst into the room.
Okay.
Good. I wanted to burst into the room, but I didn't have anything that Kamaya didn't actually make that check, so Kamaya doesn't actually know.
I mean, you two care more about it than I do. I mean...
Yeah.
I know. I mean, we could discuss it for another 15 minutes, but...
No, go for it. Let's go in.
Remy looks at the map and he's like, "Hey, Cassie, isn't that?" And turns over his shoulder to see her.
To see her just
bursting into the commander's office, and he's like, "Oh boy." Imp squeaks on her shoulder and he's like, "I know, right? Well, we better go after him." And takes off after her.
Hey, who are you? What are you doing in here? One of the young-faced, cadet-looking ones that closer to the door says that to you.
It's an intern.
The commander knows me. We agreed not to shake hands yesterday.
This is a very sensitive planning area. You're not supposed to be in here.
Yes, a sensitive planning area where you are determining the fate of this moon without any representatives from the moon there.
Of which I'm very sensitive.
One of the older gentlemen swipes his hand and the hollow turns off.
Look, we would love to have reinforcements and all that stuff and defenses. I'm for it. I'm just saying we know the terrain. Maybe we can help you choose some better, tactically speaking, better places to set up some of your equipment is all.
The older one who swiped the thing. None of this is official yet. We'll be talking to the commander soon.
Well, that's why we're here to help out.
I'm gonna need a roll.
Well, I understand that, sir, but...
Kamaya will jump in as well.
What kind of roll would you like?
It depends on what you guys are...
roll?
I want a Kaiser roll.
A hoagie roll?
Kamaya jumps in.
This is all very important.
None of this is official. We understand that. But I think that in planning, you can use the insight of some locals to actually figure out what the best possible scenario is here. You don't know anything about the planet except for what your logs and data says, but we know Hoban. If you want to mount defenses there, we're the ones to talk to about how to do that. And I think that's a charm roll.
Yeah, that would be charm, I'm pretty sure.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be 1 red, 1 purple.
Is this a group charm or a singular charm?
Whoever's, if y'all are talking, then y'all can group it.
I cannot help you out with charm at all.
I'll step in and say, trust me, guys, I think I'd listen to these two on this. All right. Remy has 1 yellow, 2 green in charm.
Oh, you know what?
That's what I have as well.
Remy, if you wanted to swing some weight around, there could be a big bonus here.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I don't remember my. We just walked in and they shut it off because they said we didn't have clearance.
Yeah.
So maybe we do. Okay. Yeah. He'll take out the data pad.
Mm-hmm.
And reactivate his status.
What does it look like?
There's a. It's like biometrics. So there's like a thumbprint, a retinal scan, and then, of course, because bureaucratic, a signature.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it does all the verifications. You effectively put your X on the line, and it says it's updating to the up to the local holonet. And then it has a confirmation, and it has your clearance level on, displayed on the holopad. And it says, it'll send you a hard copy within 2 to 3 business days.
Ever wonder what it means by a hard copy? I mean, everything's on.
It's a hard piece of plastic.
It's a hard piece of plastic.
There's also like epaulet pips and stuff like that. So this is all happening during the conversation.
Yeah.
Kamaya says this very compelling,
Right. And then Remy, as they're having their conversation, Remy decides he will reactivate his status. Guys, if I were you, I'd listen to these two. And turns the data pad around to show them his reactivated status and his clearance level.
They both look at it. The older gentleman squints a bit. The cadet reaches out for the data pad to show it closer to the older tactics officer. He looks over it. After a moment or two of being quiet, he swipes his hand again, and the hollow projection of Hoban comes back up.
Kriff, what does it actually say on it? Because as a player, I'm totally out of the loop on this.
Yes. Also, I would like to know what is his status now?
Public intelligence, first class garbage scow driver, Queen of Naboo.
Do you have a title you want?
Queen of Naboo.
Queen of Naboo? Got it.
No. I'm kidding.
They turned into a democracy, by the way. I think
they were they were democracy.
So is
back then,
England, and they still have a queen.
That's a good point. All right, yep. Remy's going to be on the money.
No.
Yay!
As he should be.
I guess it'll be up to Ito as to how high my rank is and how high my clearance level is.
It's pretty high.
But that's actually, well, the closest thing I can think of is comparing it to like James Bond, because he's actually Commander Bond, but
is he
nobody
Commander?
really cares. He's Commander, but like no one actually cares what his rank is.
Yeah.
He's 007.
So what I'm going to say
he's
is
a secret agent.
Because of the way the New Republic Defense Force is and how much there actually is, I would say that in the intelligence branch of what still exists of the New Republic Defense Force, there's maybe 7 intelligence officers above you at most.
You're 008.
So it's pretty high.
So we see Republic intelligence. That was where I was going with
Yeah,
it.
New Republic, yeah.
Okay. Well, kriff, Remy. And she kind of slaps him on the arm, as you do. It's like, why didn't you tell me?
You hear Imp squawking. And he says, well, yeah, that's why.
You know I need an imp to common translator.
Not everybody can understand imp, Marshall, or what? Officer?
Sir?
He looks at Imp, and Imp looks at him, and they both kind of shrug to each other.
Let's go with, I think, Agent. I think Agent has a good...
Agent. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, Secret Agent Man, how much back pay do they owe you?
Kamaya will turn her gaze back to the hollow that's got up.
The older gentleman looks over, Agent Drobash, any insight you might have? We know you have experience with the First Order. You look at it, and you see it, fully accessible, really up close. You see all the planetary defense systems implanted. You see plans for, turning a lot of the places into a strategic stronghold. You see a large portion of, where the sandstorm exists and everything, kind of left off to its side, assuming that natural defenses will help with that. And as you're closer, you actually also notice that the planetary defense cannons and a lot of the on-the-ground defense systems look like they're proposed to land from orbit, which is weird. It looks like it would launch the planetary defense systems from orbit. And it appears that there would be 3 pretty large ships, effectively, that would launch these, and they would fall through orbit, land at their location, and then implant. This kind of technology you've never kind of seen before, and it seems a little, to you, it seems a little far-fetched in sci-fi, which is weird.
Whoa. To me, because I've at least been out and am more more well versed with what's going on. Okay.
So if you're dropping these facilities in from orbit, why do they need to be built on top of something else?
There are very specific specifications of where these planetary defense systems can be implanted.
I should hope the specifications are specific. That's their nature. Well, look. Okay, so if you take this and you move it over here, and she starts kind of going through and just basically keeping everything off of Ceres land. Mm-hmm. and I mean, coming up with an argument of, okay, so if you put the barracks here, this is actually easier for you to get at because this road is here, and this is actually flatter than it looks, and and that area is a little bit swampy, and you're going to regret putting anything there.
And Kamaya will totally help with that. It's like, your scans say that this is the case, but actually this part is totally collapsed and would not be able to support anything here.
Yeah. It all fall under, if...
And she gives actual advice, too. She's not exclusively trying to look out for Ceres lands, but she is also
not exclusively. But
what does Cassie say about the bunker, just out of curiosity?
The bunker in town?
No, the one that she found this stuff.
Yeah,
her
bunker.
The ship was.
Oh, are they planning to annex that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has a massive planetary defense cannon plopped right on top of it.
There is a story attached to that site. We're going to need a minute to kind of go through that one. So let's put this one on hold. And she's going to go through, and she is actually looking for better positions for all of them in accordance with the terrain. So she is trying to help. But, the fact that it's coincidentally keeping it off Ceres land, the one that's going down in the middle
that would make a good base.
Johnson's farm is all, she won't try to adjust that if the Johnsons actually did leave the planet.
Right. So
But if they didn't, then she'll be like, well, this is going to actually disrupt a lot of the food supply that your Republic is depending upon. So what if we move it over here where I know they left? So something like that. But then she's going to actually tell them what they found in the
Oh, wow.
underneath that particular bunker. Yeah. But yeah, I'll tell him everything we found, up to and including the guy in the goo and the lightsaber. And
okay, this guy looks really like he's got a scribe next to him trying to log a lot of stuff. This is one of their chief tactics officers, and you're giving him plot. He's not used to dealing with plot. He's a strategy game kind of guy, and there's a lot of it. So
we try to put facts in there, help him out.
So I'm gonna tell you what, you're going to they're getting a lot of this information, but you're gonna have to explain it yourselves to Commander Char. And I'm very curious on how you're going to explain this. You don't have to do the whole thing, but I want to hear a little bit of this in character.
Okay.
Before they're ready to, they were going to have their meeting with the tactics officer about all this kind of stuff, you can get a quick glimpse at the other two options. If you want.
What are the other two options?
The other two options.
Since
One
you
is
brought it up.
complete evacuation and then, booby trap the entire planet.
Oh, yeah. Anybody's going to go for that.
Yeah. And
People
option
that stayed are staying.
Option 3 is a skeleton defense force on Hoban. The first option, the reason they would be willing to put that much resources into Hoban is that it looks like it would become the staging site for a rallying call to the still existing New Public Defense Forces. That would become their new home base. Because as you can see here on the station, they're just kind of existing here, but the space station is not theirs at all.
Right. Okay.
So option 3 is much, 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 much less people. It's a few ships, that stay in orbit. They've allocated some officers on the ground to help train the populace, and there's a lot of arming the local population, but it's with ground, as ground forces, because Hoban does not have very many even planetary ships. So those are the three options that their tactics officer is going to put in front of Commander Char.
Okay. And obviously, I think we are going to be working mostly towards making the one with lots of extra help and defenses sound good. I think that's the best approach for us. So we want to improve this plan and make it seem the most positive for them.
It does run the risk of making Hoban a bigger target. So yeah, you can totally spend some time and before it goes in front of Commander Char and improve the plan. Their information of Hoban is mostly limited to the scans and readings from the fall after the fall of the Empire. So you can update a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh no, there was an earthquake here years ago. That's not there anymore. That kind of thing.
You pull out a little paint tool on the holo projection and...
Oh, we definitely fixed the crater that by the goat
the goat
farm.
Yeah. Clive.
The Vestigian wing or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The plateau.
The Stygian, I believe, was the ship.
Yeah.
We fix it. We help them for sure.
It looks like the tactics officer was actually leaning towards this one because operating out of a quasi black market secretive space station isn't military enough for him, Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's kind of chomping at the bit to effectively go and repurpose a nice big military stronghold.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do we need to roll to help him? Do we just help?
No, this is it's y'all trying to persuade once Char has these in front of him which one,
Oh, okay, yeah.
After a little while, another runner comes in and says, Commander Char is ready to see... Oh, Commander Char is ready to see you, tactics officer.
What is the name of the tactics officer, anyway?
Oh, gosh, all right. Just as, I almost get through not having to have him have a name. Okay. I give, 3 other NPCs names. You guys don't care about them. This one. Let's see.
This is why we need people to support us on Patreon so they can give us names.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
That actually is
support
a
us on
Patreon
Patreon
tier.
at the $10 level.
If only there were name generators and some place to jot down those names.
His name is actually Tactics Officer Sabak.
Really?
I mean, people in our world have names that are just like that, you know? They're just like...
I guess it's like being called Chip.
Colonel.
Like,
Yeah.
Colonel Poker?
Effectively.
Colonel Tango.
Yeah.
Tactics Officer Sabak.
Okay, Tactics Officer Spock. Thank you for listening to us.
Absolutely. Thank you for your assistance. I think this is the best opportunity for the New Republic to really dig in and have a chance against the First Order.
Well, if there's anything else we can do.
I mean, you can come in and speak with Commander Char with me.
Great. Thank you for inviting us. And Cassie, walks ahead of him.
All right, yeah.
It's very rude.
we all just kind of wait, invite us. There we go. Good. Here we go. On our way.
I don't want to have to do another roll. Perfect.
The line has been crossed.
The group of you all walk in to Commander Char's main office. The holoprojector is off to the right. One of the pages runs past all of you and plugs in the really big data disk into it, and then the updated projection of Hoban shows up with the parts where you guys erased it and then redrew it in, so it looks kind of silly, but it's more accurate now.
Commander, good to see you again.
Good to see you all too. Tactics Officer, what's happening here? Agent Drobash saw us in the briefing room, and they wanted to help in the preparation of our plans, Commander. Interesting.
We thought you could use a little local advice.
All right, tell me what you have. Thanks for listening. To make sure you don't miss any of our big updates, follow us on Facebook at No Match for Blaster, or on Twitter at No Match Podcast. If you enjoy the show, please leave us a review on iTunes, and visit our Patreon on patreon.com/moralityplays. No Match for Blaster is a podcast, Morality Plays. Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny are made by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our theme is by Kevin McLeod. Sound effects by Tristan Longren, Vindus, and Akmov. And I would like to thank my players, Brandon playing Remy Drobash, Claire playing Cassie Saris, and Bobby playing Kamaya Saris. And of course I'd like to thank you, our listeners, for all the amazing support. And we'll see you again soon in a galaxy far, far away.